Hey everyone, and welcome back to ScarletSprites. I was on pace there for a little while to crank out a video a week, which was a goal for 2022 here. And then of course I ended up getting sick for 3 weeks and not really writing or feeling like filming anything. That was not COVID related, by the way. And then of course some of you saw on Twitter the basement flooded this week, which was not great at all. Had to clean that up. All this to say, today we are going completely unscripted again. You guys have already seen the basement arcade tour, so a little less people, but a few have asked to see the game room tour. So today's a little bit more console-oriented things. Look at some Neo Geo, some Nintendo collections that I have. But that's what's in store for today, completely unscripted, so let's go ahead and jump in. And I guess the first thing I can share here is that yeah, I actually do film here in the game room. So this room serves multiple purposes for me for the hobby and the various splinter hobbies that come off of video gaming. And I wanted to show this room and talk about a few of the things in here and how I have things set up, but it's always kind of in chaos. It's always a little bit of a wreck in here because I have different things out. I'm doing captures, I'm playing various different consoles. There's wires, there's cables everywhere, and then yeah, I'm filming in here, so there's always stuff out. So I just came to the conclusion that it's best just to show you the reality of everything as opposed to me, straightening things up and having this kind of be a facade. Nah, you're gonna get the real deal today. All right, so why not start with the main centerpiece here? This is a TCL S405, not really a amazing television, but it was pretty cheap. Does 4K, low input lag, so I like it. Suits my purposes here in the game room. Lined up across the front, I got the N64, which almost never gets played, Raspberry Pi 4, the Nintendo Wii U, which I do still have a lot of love for. Of course, Mr. PlayStation Classic, which I think some people are probably surprised. I really don't have a ton of love for the original PlayStation or really PlayStation Beyond. It just was never in my wheelhouse. Once things started going disc, a lot of the nostalgia factor just isn't there for me. So the PlayStation Classic serves as my go-to PlayStation. The PC Engine Classic here, I actually do really like this little machine. It's pretty good. The 8-bit DO wireless in front. Mega SG and the now controversial Terra Onion Mega SD, which I don't know, political rants aside, I actually do still really like that cartridge. It serves its purpose, so pretty good overall. That's my top shelf here alignment of consoles. Then dropping down to the center of the entertainment stand, I've got the consoleized MVS from J&X, the Nintendo top loader, which has the high-def NES kit installed for HDMI output. You can see I've got the EverDrive in it, and a wireless 2.4G controller from 8-bit Do, whatever. And then the analog Super NT with an SD to SNES cartridge. I do have the 8-bit Do controllers for that as well. I think I don't know where the other one is, but I have the Americanized SNES version as well as the Famicom colors here as well. Now on the sides, I have these little doors. This is where I keep all my spare controllers. So here's actually the wired controller in here for PC Engine, PlayStation Classic controllers, and there's some other stuff in here as well, not overly exciting. And then on the left, just more controllers inside here. I am a big fan of the Dogbone controller for NES. I use that when I'm not going wireless. I got some Neo pads in the back here. Clicky, of course. This is, GameCube controller that I use on the Wii U. The Wii U is my go-to GameCube player these days. And then the Astro City mini controller, which honestly is pretty great for Mister. I use it all the time for that. Now I did skip over some things up top here. This is a very cheap wireless keyboard that I use for Mister as well as the Raspberry Pi 4, the Splatoon Switch Pro controller, and then over here is Xenoblade Chronicles controller for the Switch as well. And the Nintendo Switch is kind of out of sight behind here. fine. I don't really undock this very much at all. It pretty much is almost solely played on the TCL. And of course, I got the RetroTink 5X rolling here for almost exclusively for the consoleized MVS now. All right, and if we shift to the right from the main display here, I got first shelf of stuff. You can see the Dragon's Lair trilogy down there. I'm a sucker for that. Space Ace was always my go-to in that series. One of my ROBs, I think this one here I picked up for 10 bucks at a yard sale a long time ago. A few Nintendo Switch titles here, obviously Night Trap, Another World, and I think I've got, yeah, Link's Awakening, which I've never even started, to be honest with you. We'll just go from the bottom up here. I did start collecting a lot of the SNK boxed NES games. I never really finished that set off, obviously, but do have a few of them. Final Fight series. These are all Super Famicom versions. The Americanized editions are really expensive, and honestly, I kind of like the artwork and stuff on the Super Famicom versions a little bit better anyway. My N64 collection, it's a little meager. There's some stuff here that you know was from back in the day, and I don't know, like a lot of this stuff, like here's the Turoks, which I really like, and they're available on Switch now. Worthy ports, in my opinion. Even Mario 64 is, you know, playable on Switch. Doom 64, same thing. I know a lot of people were hoping to get the Zelda titles, but that hasn't happened quite yet. And I am a bit of an amiibo closet collector, so these are obviously all the Splatoon amiibo that I have, and they've been used when I've been playing the Wii U version, and for a little bit for Splatoon 2 as well. Proceeding north, some Super Nintendo games. You can see some of these are from back in the day. Like this is a copy of NHL 95. It's obviously not a highly coveted title, but you know, this is the stuff I used to play. This was a big deal because for a while I didn't have a Genesis, and so when NHL PA Hockey finally came to Super Nintendo, I was pretty jacked about that. Here's like the one, well, actually no, I do have both. I have Mega Man X2, and I do have the original, which unfortunately I think these have jumped up in price. That's why I ended up getting the third on Famicom, because there's no way I was gonna pay money for the Americanized version. And then here's my boxed NES collection. A lot of these, the overwhelming majority, have been rebought, and that's just because a lot of you guys know the story. I sold off a big portion, if not, I think all but like maybe 10 or 12 games back in the day, because I wanted to buy a Panasonic 3DO somewhere in the mid-90s. So that was obviously a bit of a mistake, but I went back and was able to collect a lot of the games over time that I did originally own, and a few others as well, a few black box titles here on the side. Somewhat surprisingly, I don't have Kung Fu, which is my big NES game, the one that made me want an NES. I never got a complete in box copy of that, but yeah, picked up a lot of the others that I used to play as a kid. And then all the way up top here, in my classic collections, I mean, you saw a few of these, like the PC Engine and PlayStation are obviously hooked up. TurboGrafx 16, that was an impulsive purchase. It's also so much bigger than the PC Engine Classic. I just don't have it hooked up. Super Nintendo and NES Classics, I did have those modified with a lot more ROMs on them. They're back to stock now. I can honestly say the Genesis Mini, I don't think I've ever had that out of the box. So that was another impulsive purchase just to kind of add to the collection here. And again, I just had mentioned I was a closet amiibo collector. There's Ken and Ryu sitting on top over here. Now, this is my futon that I sit on to play games, and Actually, only a fraction of the time. I sit on the floor more often than not. The futon's not very comfortable. Wouldn't recommend it. It's just a cheap stopgap. This is, that spot right there is where ScarletSprites is filmed about 90% of the time. So I got my mic, boom, and everything set up here. Here's Q*bert from when I was a kid. I got this Mario Kart 8 display. This is actually upside down right now. You can see the text here. So it hangs. I've never gotten it hung up from the ceiling or posted anywhere. And just to the left here, I've got this this charging station, which is helpful because my laptop's going right now. But I got the lights plugged in, iPhone. I got a few of the 8BitDo adapters here, and then that for Switch. And then just circling back around, let's tackle the next shelf. Maybe for this one we'll start at the top. Just some Nintendo stuff up here. Obviously Mega Man 11, Long Island Retro Expo patch. I don't even have a 3DS anymore, but I'll be honest, I got this for the gold Mega Man amiibo. White GameCube controller. Some more Zelda stuff, Shakedown Hawaii for Wii U, which I just don't have space for down below. You can see hiding back in the back here is Street Fighter II Champion Edition arcade PCB. One of the few gaming autographs I do have. Kerry Hoskins. Here's Sonya for Mortal Kombat 4. Dropping down, this is all Nintendo stuff. This is my Nintendo Switch collection. That pretty much is the collection. I don't have a ton of games. You can see I did finally cave and bought Mario Kart 8 when it went to $40. And Fire Emblem, Axiom Verge, some other stuff here. I did go on a bit of a Wii U run and picked up Wii Fit U. I don't want to give the impression that I'm the pinnacle of fitness here, but that was from more of a collector standpoint. Speaking of the Wii U, this is my Wii U collection. A fair amount of games. I forget when I was going back through this the last time. I don't really remember how many I'm missing, but I at one point was going to do a complete collection. I have a lot of the heavy hitters already. I don't know, it just doesn't really appeal to me to chase that anymore, but I don't know, it's still a possibility, I suppose. And then after those 3 shelves of Wii U stuff, I think we got some EverDrive cases down here at the bottom. The Mega Man boxed NES version, one of the all-time awful and now notorious cover arts. And then, I mean, it's funny, I think this might be the only 360 game that I own legitimately. And original Xbox, same deal. This metal Halo 2, the only games I have, I think, that own original copies of for Xbox. Obviously here on the end is the GameCube collection. These are, I think, pretty much all original. I don't know that I've gone back to try to collect anything from a GameCube front, but yeah. All right, let's gravitate away from that shelf. We'll head to the back of the room here, which probably contains the more interesting things. I switch out what's on display pretty frequently. This is obviously the Astro City Mini collection. The stick may have ended up being my favorite piece of this whole set. All Sanwa parts, a decent weight for an out-of-the-box commercial stick. I did switch the square gate on this out for an octo gate, but it's pretty solid. Got a Final Fight arcade PCB over here in a nice acrylic case, and then just some Naomi GD ROMs. I think this is, yep, Capcom versus SNK 2. This is Virtua Fighter 4 Final Tune, so that's pretty cool. So dropping down from that top shelf, there is the 3DO collection. Most of these are original games from back in the day when I unfortunately sold that NES collection off. I did pick up that, well, this one here, Maps of Death. I think I picked this up in the last 5 or 10 years. So that's relatively new. Of course, now I'm not going to be able to get it back in the shelf with one hand. There we go. This is what's left of my PlayStation collection, my original. This is, I was saying I don't have a lot of nostalgia for it. I think I got Parappa, Mega Man, NHL 98, Tomb Raider, and here's Crash and Burn. This is a pack-in game for the 3DO, so a few things just laying loose here. Metal Slug 7, and what else? A few other 3DO randoms. This is the start of my Sega CD collection. Again, a lot of these things are original from back in the day. Didn't pick up too much in the last 10 years, 15 years or so. I want to say I replaced some of these cases. That if anything, that's what I did. I bought cheap games and swapped out cases to try to fix some of the broken ones that I had over the years. I mean, like this. I don't even play RPGs. I know this is like pretty expensive these days, but that was like I don't know, like a $5 closeout at KB Toys, and it's just crazy. I just picked it up on a whim, and a lot of this stuff just really expensive, especially the RPGs, which seems to be the case with a lot of systems. Continuing down the shelf, you can see Xenoblade for the Wii U back there. I just got done saying I don't play RPGs, but did play a hell of a lot of Wii U and was collecting there for a while. My very modest Genesis collection, all titles that you probably would expect from someone like myself that's a little bit more arcadey and mainstream. Contra, Altered Beast, the Golden Axes. I mean, this is amazing too. Gunstar Heroes, Michael Jackson, Sonic, the Streets of Rage, and of course, Virtual Racing. Almost to the bottom here. This is my, again, very modest TurboGrafx 16 PC Engine collection. These are not from back in the day. This is all stuff in the last 10 years that I picked up, just, you know, collecting and being curious. Super Game Boy 2, I think that's an extra copy of Sonic 2 laying there. And then on the far end, I do have some Neo Geo CD games that I don't even have a Neo Geo CD anymore. I sold it when I was buying my MVS arcade machine. I used the money to help fund that purchase. Power Spikes 2, terrible. What else is in here? Soccer Brawl, that's actually sealed. That's a sealed game. I'm sure that probably doesn't do much because it's only Soccer Brawl, but I never opened that. And all the way on the bottom here, probably not in the best location. I don't know how I just ended up leaving this here, but this is the Konami 573 system. This is what was inside of the Fisherman's Bait cabinet that's now G.I. Joe. See, it's got, well, I replaced the drive on this with this DVD drive. It's a drop-in replacement, and it reads CDRs. So there's a few images out there that you can burn discs for and play different games on it. A lot of dancing games, which I have zero interest in. I think there's a Konami Classics collection that I have currently loaded up in this. But this is like all metal, and it's a pretty heavy piece of arcade equipment, and a hell of a lot of work just to play some Konami Classic games. It's a behemoth of a case, but that's all it is as of right now. So we'll come away from the bottom of that shelf, and this is the big three. This is the complete Neo Geo MVS collection. I guess I'll just start at the top because, I mean, you guys know what, the guys that watch the channel know what's already down there in the bottom. And the Fatal Fury hat's a must-have pretty much for any Neo Geo collector. Windjammers box set. What else is in here? It's obviously the Samurai Showdown collection. The Neo Geo Mini, which you guys know how I feel about that, but it's kind of a must-have from a collecting standpoint. This is actually a pretty cool collection for Switch. I've enjoyed that. And then SNK Heroines box, which it's a pretty average game, but I don't know, it's a fun set. And as a SNK collector, you just impulsively buy shit. So that's how that ended up here. There's a reproduction Neo Geo Fan Club button, obviously an MV1C case. There's Samurai Showdown 5 Special. This is my Xeno Crisis cart. Got my Terry amiibo up here. More Samurai Showdown Switch collections over here. I got my PGM cases. I had some problems with the cart connectors wearing out on these, and the hardware is still pretty cheap for PGM. So I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna buy a system for each of the games that I primarily play. So that's why Demon Front's loaded up in here. I think that's what Dodonpachi on the bottom. So yeah, this one, I think I do swap carts in and out on this. So the MV1C we just saw the box for. It's a extra system. There is a Unibios installed on that. A little bit more to the right, Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter. This is an absolutely pristine case. I was shocked when I pulled this out of Smash TV. I mean, it looked like it had never been touched. I wiped it down a little bit, but I mean, look at the label and everything on here. There's no scratches. This thing looks like factory new. So I just couldn't bring it, I just couldn't bring myself to sell it. And like I mentioned, sometimes I'll just randomly amuse myself. This is the hard drive, the original hard drive from Maximum Force. You can still see the green sticker on it. I mean, most people probably wouldn't just have this out on display, but I like the big orange sticker on it. It still has the original green label from the factory from Atari. This Shock Watch piece on. I don't know. It's my room. I'll display what I want. To the right, I've got an additional Sega STV Titan board. It does have the Die Hard cart in it. You guys can see that. So I do have a Titan board in the Die Hard cabinet downstairs. This is just an extra. I think a lot of you guys have already seen these. These are my Midway Wolf boards. So there's Rampage World Tour. Open Ice, which is desperately just waiting on getting a cabinet. It's such a sore subject. I don't even know if I can bring myself to talk about it. I think this is Hang Time. Yep. What we got? Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, and then that must be WrestleMania on the end. Yep. Since we were just talking about the PGM system, here's my additional carts for that. Not a overly robust collection, but I do have the two cave shooters, which of course are not originals, but they play just fine. The Gladiator, some other cartridges here as well. My Xeno Crisis cart, and here is my Neo Geo Pocket collection. A few games here collected over the past few years. That does bring us to the elephant in the room. This is, of course, the complete Neo Geo MVS collection. I don't know how much of this I need to show. Most of you guys who watch the channel are already familiar that went through and collected all of these carts, probably originating back in 2008. And spent the money on these shock boxes too, which, I mean, I don't know, got a little overzealous, but it does look nice with everything lined up here in the room. Trying to think about what else to show here. I do have some original posters from SNK and artwork hung up on the walls. There's Metal Slug 5. This is original. This isn't a reproduction or a print. These are all things I picked up from different arcade shops or vendors online. Now the Metal Slug poster here is a reprint, but it came from SNK in a bundle of 3 other posters. This guy here was probably by far my most expensive. I mean, not the poster itself, but I had that professionally framed, and that cost a pretty penny to have done on non-reflective glass, but it is pretty cool. And a few others over here in the corner. I think I may have showed these before on another video. I do have a few marquees as well, and I switched these out. I'll show those. Those are in the closet, and I can go up and switch different marquees in and out of the frames, or different things I have up on display elsewhere. Sagaponic Hall is my dorm. That's where I lived college, my final 2 years at Long Island University. Metal Slug 3, 4. Here's the Top Hunter flyer. It's not quite a full-size poster. And then again, another original marquee that's just in a frame. And I almost did forget, underneath the futon here, I keep one of my arcade sticks for easy access, pulling out for Mister. Here's Astro City stick that we talked about earlier. And I've got my original MVS stick, well, somewhat original, new ball top, new buttons. The Neo Geo Arcade Stick Pro, which is actually pretty great. 8-way gate on this, modified buttons. A lot of you guys watched the video that I did on that. Here's another MVS stick. It's dusty, put the gold ball top and gray buttons on this one. And then over here on, what's this on the end? Oh, this is a binder for 3DO games. I have burned for whenever I had the 3DO system actually out and playing. So that's my EverDrive for 3DO. Let's take a look at what's in the closet here in the room. Oh yeah, right away, Ghostbusters Halloween Spirit Special Closeout. Grab that. These are all loose carts for the most part. I'm not gonna dig through all this stuff. I think there's NES, N64, and SNES cartridges. They're all loose. There's some other garbage in there too. Oh, over here, my Green Lantern Kyle Rayner lantern. I mean, I think we all know Kyle's the best Green Lantern that there was. So yeah, this is why you don't go through closets, because there's just random stuff I haven't put away. This is my first Discman. Look, I think, does it have a date on it? April 1990, and it still works. Got this for Christmas from my uncle one year. Here we go. The Taito Type X3. I mean, this thing is basically a PC, but it is arcade hardware. I'm talking a little bit about this more later in the summer. Did a lot of work on this, upgrades. It's running a multi-image. I think Street Fighter V runs on this, as well as some other more modern games. Coming back up here, you can see I got all my controllers in this bin. Cables are over here, and I think this is primarily power adapters, so I have all that organized. Up top, this is a spare Naomi 2 board. This is Oxenworks' modified NetDim, so you can net boot, and it has compact flash. I'm doing some stuff with that. That's TBD. Show another video on this at some point here in the future. Might as well just cover the rest of the floor. There's another Rob. These are the marquees that I was just talking about. I have, man, see, this is why you don't go through a closet. Lethal Enforcers. These are some of you guys remember I pulled these off of the Smash TV cabinet. They were just laying in there. These are unused. It's a control panel overlay for Lethal Enforcers. House of the Dead. There's more Marvel superheroes. Police Trainer. Simpsons. I mean, there's all kinds. There's Battletoads. That's a good one. Boy, someday, another $100 arcade cabinet turn it into a Battletoads. There's Total Carnage. Blitz. What else? Oh, here's the SNK stuff on the bottom here. I think I have all the Metal Slug marquees. Yeah. I grabbed all of those at one point. Last Blade. There's Metal Slug 4. Oh, there's a Blast City marquee for Street Fighter 3 Upper. There's another Metal Slug. And there's King of Fighters 98, I think, on the bottom, holding this all up. I don't know if there's anything too exciting in here. I won't read through that. This is more just stuff. I don't think it would interest anybody. Consoles that aren't hooked up. You can see the 360s there, the 3DOs off to the side. My Xbox original is in the back. Atari with S-Video. And off to the left here, Dreamcast and PlayStation, sadly, just sitting in a bin. Comic book boxes. Some of you guys know a big Wally West Flash guy, as well as obviously Kyle Rayner. Some guns from arcade purchases of 2022, stuff I just haven't gotten to yet. Oh, yeah, and here's more marquees. I think this is, what, Street Fighter 3 in the back there. And here's stuff I also haven't put up. Some window clings from Wii U stuff. Wonderful 101. Oh, there's Mario Kart 8 again. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I should do something with these, put them up in an office or something. All right, let me go back up here. These are my consoles. Silent Scope, that's a gun for Xbox. It's like a sniper rifle. Some other box consoles in my Famicom, 32X, Neo Geo Arcade Stick Pro. Here's the Breath of the Wild. This is, yeah, that's the Master Edition or whatever that's called. I can't remember. I'm not getting it down. It's gonna fall on my head if I do anything with it. My original N64 box. I am a sucker for variant consoles. I'm not a big Pokemon fan, but I don't know. I did like the blue and yellow N64. I mean, it's two things I don't even like all that much, N64 and Pokemon, but put them together, I gotta have it. Don't know why that is. $99.99. Yep, that is my original Sega Dreamcast box. It's got some other Wii U stuff back here, which, you know, I'm not gonna dig that out. NES Entertainment System. Again, this is an original box. Something that wasn't lost in the flood. Ecto-1, impulsively picked that up not too long ago when that came out. This is Mario Kart, the live circuit thing, which I've done nothing with. These are arcade boards. I think this is maybe Battletoads? I don't know. I've got one hand. It's tough to film and pull things down off the shelf. So you're gonna have to trust me. CD64s, Contra action figures. Oh boy, my Switch box, just more stuff. VHS tapes, like home movies, like stuff that nobody should be watching. Me in karate tournaments. There's little Batman Beyond guys, Christmas ornaments. Yeah, I really need to go back through and organize this. This is not my original box for NES. That's another system I picked up at a yard sale not too long ago. When I say not too long ago, it's probably realistically 5, 6, 7 years. Wii U, here's my analog console boxes. Batman vs. Superman helmet. Oh, and here's my, this one's not too good, but Star-Lord. Yep, see, that's why you don't, yep. I made that. Like, that's not bad, right? Like, that lights up, too. It's all made out of foam. So, it's a good Halloween costume. More stuff. Here's the kind of things that people buy you when they know you're into video games and it's the holidays. Stuff you don't want. Oh, he likes coffee and he likes video games. I'll get him this. No, don't do that to your friends. A Mega Man helmet. I do have, I think you could see maybe the box way up there. There's the Buster for it too. So that was a cool Halloween costume. Oh boy, again, years ago. But yeah, I should probably do something with that. So that's the closet. I don't know how exciting that was. But yeah, that's the room, you know, just shelves, a display to play games on, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys found this somewhat interesting. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer them. But thanks for hanging out for a little bit today. I appreciate it. It was, you know, a lot of people had asked for this, and yeah, I hope this answered some of the questions that you guys had.